Chippy, what is happening? Good morning to everybody out there getting off their graveyard shift. If you got off early, nurses, doctors, good morning to you. Lawyers, good morning to you. Good morning to all the overnight dancers. You know what it is. All the truck drivers. Good morning to everybody out there getting ready for work. If you're at work, what is happening? We're having fun on my favorite day of the week, a Monday here on the Roast, the Xfinity Mobile text line. Good morning to everybody out there chiming in. We appreciate all of your texts. Trust me, we see them all. We see all the texts. Thank you for the participation. YouTube, of course, and Twitch. We're having a lot of fun this morning. We're talking quarterbacks, and look, man, the quarterback situation is just brutal. It is just a toxic situation in San Francisco. But Brock Purdy's a starter, and I feel good about that going into the season. We'll see where his elbow is, and Niners are managing that well. He's going to get rest days and days off. How will he be able to rip it once the Pats come on, which they do at 10:15? We're going to hear from John Lynch in about an hour and 10 minutes. By the way, you see, Steve, I'm kind of with it. Terrence Crawford would it be Floyd Mayweather Jr.? Any version of Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's just my boxing take.
I don't know about that.
Well, trust me, you got to watch Terrence Crawford. Money May. I don't think he would have wanted that smoke from Terrence Crawford. I'm serious.
Can he hit him? That's the thing. Can he catch Floyd?
I think he could. I think he could.
That's the thing with Floyd. We're going to be doing that the rest of his career. Oh, if he just fought this, and he fought that. It's like, why didn't he just do that to Prime? Yeah. He always pick and chose his spots.
He did. But now, today in boxing, man, we're getting the top fights. We're getting some really, really good fights, and it's been a real good 2023 in the sport of boxing. But with that said, let's go to Sterling Bennet, 95.7 49ers Insider, 49ers Access Podcast.
Is he the morning roast 49ers Insider?
I think he
depending
can.
Depending on how this goes.
Hey, man, that job's up for grabs right now. We got a Giants Insider with Sam Lutman.
Right.
The job's up for grabs. And you know what? I got to give Sterling credit. He used to work the board on overtime. We never let him get a word in. He came in on a roast. So Sterling, get in here, Sterling. Let me bring up his hotline here. Sterling Bennet, good morning to you. When did you come on a roast? When did you join us on a roast last time?
It was about a month ago, maybe 50 days ago during OTAs and minicamp.
See, and I looked at the boss man, Matt Nahigan, our program director. I said, hey, Sterling, not bad, man. He brought the passion. He goes, not bad. So we talked you up, and we got a job up for grabs for you because you're going down to training camp every single day, and you have a chance to be our official Morning Roast 49ers Insider because you do a great job at practice.
Huge.
You're not a biased participant. You're not Team Trey or Team Brock. You're Team Niners. You just want to see the team do well. So you were at practice yesterday, and Purdy had a day off. Let us know how the quarterbacks did yesterday at practice, Sterling.
Well, I will say this. In the 1 week of non-padded training camp, I think yesterday was all three quarterbacks, with Brock Purdy excluded. It was their best day. Trey Lance looked really good. He had 2 touchdowns, a strike to Chris Conley over the middle, and a scrambling 15-yard run for a touchdown to avoid a sack. But with that being said, Sam Darnold was on fire yesterday. 3 total touchdowns. He was crisp. He was decisive. A bunch of chunk plays to Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. I mean, Sam Darnold looked like a stud. Looked like a star. Now, it's one practice, but if you build on that, there could be good things headed towards Sam Darnold's way if he does this every single day.
Sterling Bennet, Joe Spadoni, first time, long time here. Sam Darnold, to your point, he's been a guy who's been drafted top 5, New York Jets. You thought he was going to be a dude coming out of USC and Adam Gase, the whole disaster there. Then he goes over to Carolina, gets a chance with Matt Rule, and they're not very good. They do their thing. Now he comes here. What are your overall thoughts on Sam Darnold? Because a lot of people in the know feel like, hey, listen, you get this guy some good coaching, and Kyle Shanahan, one of the best in the league, get some offensive weapons around him. He has all the tools to be a legit quarterback. What are your thoughts on him going forward with this Niners team? And can he eventually make some starts this upcoming season for them?
With Sam Darnold, he's always had the arm talent. There's a reason he was drafted top 5 out of USC. There's a reason so many teams were enamored with what he could be in the NFL. Now, playing for the Jets and playing for Carolina, those teams weren't built to carry a young rookie quarterback to anything. And he's been turnover prone throughout his entire career. There's been issues with what he's put on the field and put on tape that makes me say, I don't trust him entirely to lead any team, whether it's this team or the worst team in the league. But it's the small glimpses of hope that you see, like yesterday at practice, that make you say, maybe with this team, this roster, with these superstars and this head coach that can make everything extremely easy for a player like Sam Darnold, who does have top 5 quarterback potential back in 2018. Would I be confident if he was starting 8-10 games? Probably not. But if he's a supplement to maybe a Brock Purdy missing 1 to 2 games, I'd be okay with that. And that mindset has changed since I saw him in OTAs. You can hear and sense by the way that Kyle Shanahan and Brian Griese and the coaching staff talk him up that he's a quick learner. And by the way he's put together consistent practices over maybe this up and down kind of examples that Trey Lance has put on the field, I do think that the one thing Sam Darnold can do that no other quarterback besides Brock Purdy can do on the roster is make Shanahan feel comfortable quickly. And I think he's starting to do that. But again, if he's playing 8 games, I don't know where this team fits. Now, could he surprise us? Yes. But I think if any quarterback behind Brock Purdy is playing, they're all backups. That's just the truth. They're all backup quarterbacks right now. They're all unproven. And I think right now we should be hoping that Brock Purdy's healthy above all the other guys behind him.
All right, Sterling Bennet here on the Morning Ross on 95.7 The Game, 49ers Access Podcast. Of course, the 95.7 The Game, 49ers Insider. I'm almost ready to give him a job for the Morning Roast 49ers Insider. Trey Lance, I know a lot has been made about reps and who he's throwing to. Has he thrown a single pass at Brandon Ayuk in practice or Christian McCaffrey? Has Trey Lance practiced strictly with the 2s and the 3s and the 4s?
Well, when people talk about he hasn't had Deebo Samuel or Brandon Ayuk or Christian McCaffrey, there's been certain days, like yesterday, he didn't have Brandon Ayuk when he was out there in the red zone and doing team drills. But that's not a conscious effort of the coaching staff to make sure that doesn't happen. He had Deebo Samuel. He's a star receiver in the NFL. It's not like he hasn't had a star or at least one star around him during his drills. It's not like the coaching staff is going about this unfairly, saying we're going to give Sam and Brandon Allen, Ayuk and Kittle and CMC. It's just the rotation. And even with that said, if you want to prove yourself to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, or at least get the opportunity to be one, you have to perform well with anybody around you. Touchdown pass to Chris Conley yesterday. Boom, strike in the end zone. Great pass by Trey Lance. He had a wonderful wheel route to George Kittle to open up team drills. Like, there have been glimpses of, I don't want to say stardom, but there's been glimpses of the potential that we all were enamored with when he first got drafted. I don't think Trey Lance is a bad quarterback. I don't think his reps are anything to worry about. They all mix in with the 1s and the 2s and the 3s. The offensive line is where you look at to figure out this team's first team, second team, third string quarterback in OTAs in minicamp. And yesterday, Trey Lance got the lion's share of the first team reps with the starting offensive line minus Trent Williams. So if Trey Lance is getting first team reps with George Kittle and Deebo Samuel, I don't see there being an excuse as to, well, he's not getting Brandon Ayuk on his side or CMC. Trey Lance has had plenty of opportunity with superstars to make something happen.
This is why you're on the show, Sterling. This is the context we need right here, Spadotti.
He's crushing it, man. Sterling Bennet here with us, 49ers Insider for maybe the Morning Roast here at 95.7 The Game. Sterling, you mentioned that offensive line. Is that the biggest question mark, and we're going outside of the quarterback position here, is that the biggest question mark for you for this 49ers team in their hopes to get back to a Super Bowl and winning one?
If it's not, it has to be the secondary, but sticking with the offensive line, my big question is, who is this team's backup offensive line? Who's the backup guard? Who's the backup center? Who's playing backup left tackle? Do you guys trust Jalen Moore? I don't. No. Do you trust Matt Pryor and guys like John Feliciano? This team has one backup offensive lineman, one, that I can trust and go, that guy's done it in the league. Other than that, it's a bunch of rookies, second-year guys, third-year guys who've done almost nothing in the NFL. And when you ask, is it the biggest question mark? Well, if it was McGlinchey at right tackle, there might be a question mark there, but it wouldn't be as big when you move McKivitz over, because McKivitz was this team's backup left tackle when Trent Williams couldn't play. Now he's playing right tackle, which McKivitz, who's quote-unquote earned this job, according to Kyle Shanahan and Trent Williams himself, he's also unproven to a certain degree. So this right tackle position, it could be a boom. It also could be a bust for San Francisco. And if it's a bust, this team could be in shape where they have 4 good offensive linemen and a big hole on Brock Purdy's strong side. And that does worry me because no one else behind him is good enough or ready to take that job.
No doubt. Sterling Bennet here on the Rush. We'll get you out of here in a second, Sterling, as the pads do come on today. We can talk all day long about Brandon Ayuk. He's been lighting up in camp. I think Brandon Ayuk takes another step this season, although he still may end up as a fourth option in this offense, which is a good problem to have here. What are you most excited about, though, when the pads come on today at 10:15? They start hitting today for the first time all season. What are you looking forward to? What are you most excited to see when the pads do come on?
I am most excited to see our first glimpse as to all the work Drake Jackson put in during the offseason. With no pads on, it's so hard to see all the workouts, the ability and the training to get their conditioning up, their speed up. And Drake Jackson has bulked up 15 pounds of muscle to see if that bend is still there. We saw him yesterday out covering Elijah Mitchell on wheel routes and getting a pass deflection. He's so athletic. I want to see that put to the test with pads on against this offensive line. Because if Drake Jackson is out there tearing up backup left tackles, maybe even going against guys like Trent Williams, for a second-year player, former second-round pick, we can finally get an idea as to who he's going to be in the NFL. And in return, like Spinoni asked earlier, how good is this offensive line? If they're getting torn up by backup defensive ends, we may find ourselves saying this is a massive issue. So
Right.
Those front sevens on both sides, offensive line and defensive line, that's what I'm keened into today, because once pads come on, hands start flying, bodies start being turned over and pushed down. That's when real football starts to happen.
Let's get you out of here with this one. I know you read everything. Mike Sando, have you checked out his quarterback tiers yet?
I know where Brock Purdy sits. Yes, I do.
Yeah, how'd you feel about where Brock Purdy sit? Are Niner fans, from what you see on the internet, are they happy with where Brock Purdy is sitting right now?
The thing with Brock Purdy is that there's so many question marks of, was it a one-year wonder? How is the return from the injury going to happen? I don't hate the placement, because there is reason to be skeptical of what he's going to be this year. And that's what the list is based off of, predictions of what it's going to be this year with something that happened to do last year. So I don't hate 24. Do I think it should be higher, seeing Jimmy Garoppolo at 18? Maybe. But I don't hate it. Brock Purdy still has so much to prove after 8 games in the NFL. I wouldn't want to put him top 15 just yet, but I understand Niner fans might be upset, but let's be honest here. If Trey doesn't start, they'll be upset. If Sam Darnold starts, they'll be upset. If Brock Purdy doesn't start, they'll be upset. It's the quarterback position in San Francisco. Whatever happens, someone's going to be upset somewhere.
No doubt about that. Our boy Joe Shasky was upset after a playoff win over Jimmy Garoppolo. Remember that? Back in 2019, Sterling Bennet, hell of a job. I think we're going to call you tomorrow, too. We want an update every single day on practice. This is getting juicier, and the pads come out today. Have fun out there, Sterling. We'll look forward to your coverage and your tweets on, of course, I guess we can't even say tweets anymore. What do you call them?
His exes.
Exes? Is
All
that
his
what they call
exes
it?
live in Texas. Yeah.
Well, Sterling's getting married. Don't put him out there like that.
Oh, come on. Sterling's crushing it. Love you, Sterling.
Sterling, go have fun at practice, man.
Thanks, guys.
Anytime, Sterling Bennet, 49ers Access Podcast. He is crushing it.
I don't know. Anointing him the morning roast insider for the 49ers already seems more like, kind of like Brock Purdy already getting the starting job after 8 games.
Yeah, we shouldn't give it to him yet. I didn't tell him he had the job yet.